Welcome back to 843 TV, where communities come to speak. We're joined now by Reverend Lawrence here at Holy Trinity and Caroline O'Neill, and I wanted to make sure I didn't confuse you with your sister, Sydney Lawrence. So glad to have you all here. And we're going to talk a little bit about your math program. We have a couple of math superstars here. Tell us about math at Holy Trinity.
Well, thank you. I would say that math is certainly a core component to a robust, good education. That's always been the case, and it certainly is the case here at Holy Trinity. We do math a little bit differently, or at least our approach to math is different than much of current education. I think a lot of the current educational milieu, the idea is to try to get students in algebra as soon as possible. So you'll find curricula that have algebraic concepts as young as kindergarten, first, second grade. And I believe the classical response to that is algebra is absolutely crucial, but the human brain doesn't develop and isn't ready for those sort of abstract concepts until 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Historically and classically, mathematics in the younger grades has focused around arithmetic and learning number sense, and also learning your basic facts and operations. I think if you would speak to many algebra, Algebra 2, pre-algebra teachers in schools around this area and throughout the country, I would say one of their big frustrations is likely that their students coming in do not have much number sense, nor do they have their arithmetic skills down. For example, probably when I was in school, certainly, one thing that we had to do is make sure that we knew our multiplication tables through and through and knew how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide really, really well. And I think if you were to ask many algebra teachers, their frustration is they're trying to teach now the algebraic concepts to students who don't have that arithmetic foundation.
So how do you, as a headmaster, how do you get that across and make that decision?
Well, when it's
is it understood?
I would say it's more than understood. I think
with
our teachers, yes, and parents feel that frustration because when they come for tours and I describe, we do strong arithmetic till about 6th grade, then we begin to transition into algebra, there's just this relief because they realize they're coming home, their students are coming home with these concepts that they're not just developmentally, majority of them are not developmentally ready.
They're not ready for it.
And if they're ready around here and they learn their arithmetic and they get their operations down, we'll move them ahead.
Well,
girls,
clearly y'all are doing something kind of incredible here. You all have been in some competitions. Tell us a little bit about that. And I want to make sure to ask the ladies about it as well and their experiences with it. Tell us about the competitions.
Well, once our students get older, they're able to compete in mathematic competitions. And these are two of our finest math students. I mean, these girls, I think I got to teach both of you arithmetic, and then I sent them off to Algebra and Algebra 2. And, but they are now in PreCalc. And we're in 2 recent competitions against schools who have been well established around for years. And even though we were only in 10th grade and competing against seniors and juniors, we took our 10th and 9th graders. They did very, very well.
And this was the SCISA
and competed in the South Carolina Independent School Association
and College of Charleston as well?
Yes, and then in the SCISA meet we placed 3rd, again competing against predominantly juniors and more so seniors. And then they went and competed in a very broad, well-known math competition in College of Charleston and placed 4th. And so to have sophomores, I think was really encouraging. So
ladies, Caroline, what was your experience with this? How was that representing Holy Trinity? And for you personally, was it the team thing or the independent? Tell me a little bit about your experience.
Well, I really loved working as a team and just studying math. Like when we get to practice, we would just work together to solve problems. Miss Flowers, our teacher who took us to both competitions, would work us through the problems that we didn't know. We did kind of like a crash course in probability, all sorts of things. And then getting to the competition, I think we all felt a little nervous going into both of them.
How many of y'all went together?
To the first competition, we took 2 teams of 5 people each. And then to the College of Charleston, we took 1.5 teams, which was 6 people.
Okay. And so it was very satisfying for you to get on the stage, so to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and how about you, Sydney?
Yeah, it was just really good because oftentimes math is a personal thing. You do it on your own, you're doing it for a test. But with these competitions, we get to go as a team and specifically in some events we got to walk as a team and do these more difficult problems, not on our own, but with everyone's ideas coming together.
How does that change? What have you learned from that process? Are there things people just see from a different angle, or?
Yeah, a lot of time there are several ways to do a problem, and something that maybe I didn't see someone else can catch, a good way to check your walk and see if there's a lot of times an easier way to do it, a shortcut that we missed.
Wonderful. And so you placed, right?
I did.
And tell me about that.
In the skiza one, I got 3rd place of the entire meet. I think there were 163 kids there, a lot of them juniors and seniors. And so that was on the written test, and then together our whole team also got 3rd place.
That's wonderful. And Caroline, you were part of that team?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you guys get to do your math thing, and it's wonderful. As you know, as a woman growing up, it was kind of math was more of a male-dominated thing. So it's really satisfying for me to see 2 young ladies sitting here in their math glory. Now, folks don't always associate math and science and technology with classic education. Can you speak on that a little bit, Reverend?
I think part of the reason is we as classical educators look out at the world and we don't want to forget the strong classical language art roots. And so we do focus on a robust languages. You've heard about Latin earlier today, reading high quality, rich literature. But a classical education does not ignore the mathematical arts and sciences either. It's that clearly right. And it's that well-rounded education that we're seeking to provide. So if we think classically, back to get into Harvard in the 1800s, not all that long ago, you needed to be well steeped and able to read in Latin and Greek so that and have a robust mathematical education and the sciences. And so we seek to provide all of that.
Yeah, and it is truly happening here at Holy Trinity. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching 843 TV, where communities come to speak. We'll see you next time.